But when you get to the USA, it is a different scenario. So I want you to understand what credit score is and what credit score is like. So let's start. Should you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat box, or you can raise your hands afterwards. So what are credit scores? So it is just simply a number, like 3-digit number, ranging from 300 being the lowest and 850 being a good credit score. It is a rating given to your financial background, and you are being assessed by a lender. And also, like I said, it is a number representing the credit worthiness of an individual. So in the USA, credit scores are important because you won't be able to like rent a car, buy a car, purchase a house, or rent a house without having credit scores. So how do we build credit scores? This will not be long. Yeah. So your credit scores are important because you can leverage great scores into great deals on cars, credit cards, insurance premiums, apartments, cell phone plans, and that's it. So you have to have a credit score for you to be able to rent a car. Buy a car if you want, if you have plans to get a car immediately after you go to the US, or get a credit score, or get credit cards, because these credit bureaus would be checking, would be running your credit scores to be able to get credit cards. And if you have insurance, especially for your auto insurance, they will also be checking for your credit scores. So this is how important credit score is. You won't be able to purchase anything because all of this requires your credit score. And being in the US for the first time in forever, so we don't have any credit history. So it is important to build your credit scores immediately after, when you have your paperwork with Cindy, like when you go to Bank of America. So it is important that you ask Bank of America if they have credit cards that they can give to you. So these are major credit score factors that would affect your credit history. So the first is like your payment history, which comprises like 35% of your credit score. So it means to say these are the things that you need to consider. You have to always pay your bills on time. So if you pay your bills on time, you have no missed payments, that will greatly affect your credit score. 35% of it is from your credit history. So it means to say, if you pay your bills on time, it will tell the lenders that you are a responsible payer. So you are responsible with your finances, and you are being a good payer. And now, like 30% of your credit score would be from your amounts owned. Like if you have been approved of your credit score, of your credit card, for example, you have this credit limit that you only can purchase. For example, most commonly it's like 1,000. You will be given a credit limit of 1,000. Please do not ever max out your credit scores, your credit limit, because it would greatly affect badly your credit scores. For example, if you got 1,000 credit limit, you only have to spend 30% of it. So what is 30% of 1,000? Anybody? Like 30% of 1,000 is like 300. Yeah, 300. Yeah, you only have to like spend 300 from the 1,000 credit limit. So that just make small purchases, always pay your bills on time. So that way you can pay off your debts. You can pay off whatever it is that you have purchased within the month. So that would comprise 30%. Another thing is your length of credit history. So it would comprise 10% of your credit factor. Like keep your accounts, oldest accounts open. So when you go to America and then you were able to open an account like credit card account with Bank of America. So you have to like keep it open. So that way it will help you. It will help you. It will help the lenders rather to see that you are keeping it in a good condition. You are keeping your credit history, your credit scores healthy by keeping your oldest accounts open. And number 10, like for my in my case, I was so frustrated. Like the first time I get approved, the first time I applied for a credit card, I got denied with I think Discover. So I applied for another one for American Express. I applied for another one from Capital One. So please do not make my mistakes. Just open one account at a time because it will send signals to the credit lenders that you are desperate like, to have a credit card and that it will greatly affect your credit scores as well. So it will like, why is it so desperate? Does she have money to pay off everything? So does it don't open too many accounts at one time. Just maintain one or two credit cards. And number 10 is the type of credit card used. So you don't only have to dwell with just one credit card. You have to have a mixture of credit use. Like you can have the store cards from store credit cards from like department stores like TJ Maxx, like what else? Burlington. So that way it will give you a variety of types of loans and credit over time. So do you have any questions before we proceed?
None.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Here we go. Yes.
About the credit card. If you have a credit card here in the Philippines, can we use that one in the US?
So if you have a credit card in the Philippines, say for example Visa or MasterCard, so please communicate with your bank if they are allowing that to be used in the foreign land. So there is what we call the transaction for international transaction fee. So if they have no questions about it, then you can use it. But if I were you, it is preferred that you would build your credit score from scratch in the USA, like how getting a credit card, paying off your bills, and that's it. Because it will be difficult for you to be able to use that. But yeah, please just communicate with your bank that if you can use it internationally. So that way you can apply. There's a certain things that you still have to apply for you to be able to use it in the US. So that's what I know of.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Next. So now that we know the major factors that are affecting your credit score, so how do we build your credit score? So first is to get a secured credit card from Discover, American Express, Capital One, or both. I have mentioned this earlier that one of the things that you need to do with Cindy, like paperwork with Cindy, is to open an account for Bank of America. So you have to open a checking and a savings account from Bank of America. So if they will not offer you to open a credit card, or perhaps you can tell them like, is it possible for me to get a credit card from Bank of America? Because they would tell you yes. But here's the thing, you have to put in certain amount of money, for example, 200 at the minimum or 300 at the minimum, and that will become your credit limit. So that's the thing with Bank of America. You have to put in a certain amount of money and then you can use it immediately. Also with Capital One, there is an option that they will help you build your credit scores, provided that you have to put in a certain amount, like $99 at the very minimum, $99 at the very minimum, and then you can spend within what you have put in your account. So another thing is to getting a secured credit card from Discover. American Express, and I was able to get a Discover credit cards because I have built my monthly bills. So this rentals homeowners have been reporting my payment history to the credit unions. So that way I was able to get my Discover card and my American Express card. So that is just one thing. Second is to just become an authorized user. If you know somebody in the US, if you have a friend in the US or a family member in the US, it's so hard to be establishing credit scores without any credit history because we are just new and we don't have the social security number yet. So perhaps you can ask them if you can be an authorized user from their credit card. So that way, if they have good credit standing or they have good credit history, so you will be enjoying the benefits that they have. So that's building your credit scores. So all you need to do is ask them if you can become an authorized user from their credit history. But if you know somebody in the US and they have a bad credit scores, that would also affect you being being the one using their credit credentials. So be sure that you have somebody, somebody who has a good credit standing before becoming an authorized user from your credit cards. Now, there's the thing. Number 3 is get credit for paying monthly utility and bills on time. So the key is to pay your monthly utility bills on time. If you are renting an apartment soon and from a rental company, so there is what we call a contract. So if your name is on there, it's on the lease, so you can start building your credit scores. So just by paying your monthly utility bills on time, your water bills, your phone bills, so please make sure that you have to pay it on time. So that way they will say, oh, he is responsible for paying his own bills, and thus giving you a good credit score. So number 3 is credit builders. What are credit builders? There, if you search it online, there is actually company that would allow you to pay certain amount, like $10 at the very minimum, and then they would help you build your credit scores on time. So that's what we call credit builders. They are small time companies that would help you. You have to pay them monthly amounts like $10, $20, $30, and then build it over time. So that way, by doing so, you are building your credit scores. And then next will be your store credit cards. I think number 10, 10% of credit factors would be from a mixture of your credit scores in credit usage. So not only depending on a credit card, but also you have to consider getting credit cards from stores in the US like Burlington, TJ Maxx, Marshalls. So you can only do this when you have your social security card. So that way it will help build up your credit scores. And lastly, your bank account. So what do we mean by this one? So when you are asked to open an account with Bank of America, you are asked to have your checking account and your savings account. So if you are frequently transferring money from your checking account to your savings account, that way it will tell the lenders, it will tell the credit bureaus that you are keeping your savings account healthy, and thus building your credit scores over time, that you are financially able to pay off your bills, you're financially able to live in the US, and thus keeping your credit score healthy. Questions, reactions, recommendations, if there is any. Okay. So now we move
just
on.
give a comment. If I may make a comment on this, Carol, I'm showing this to my teenagers. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Like number 6, like tips to improve your credit scores. It's basically just pay your bills on time. You know, if you miss payments, so that it will send signals to the credit bureau said, oh, she doesn't have enough money like to pay your bills, to pay back what she owns me, something like that. Just pay your bills on time, don't make mixed payments, and sign up for online banking, and make sure your regular recurring bills are paid automatically. So I think everything is in online banking right now. So both Wells Fargo, everything is done online. So you have to set up automatic payments with either your phone bills, your utility bills, and your rentals. So you have to sign it up so that way you won't have any missed payments, because missed payments would, drastically put down all the credit scores that you have. And then when you have already your credit card, like within 6 months, you could ask to like increase your credit limit. For example, you only have like 1,000. You could call the bank, like call Discover or whatever credit cards you have to like increase it. So that way, you will have more amount of money that you can purchase. It will lower down your credit utilization. So you have to like you have to tell them that you need your credit limit increased. And that one thing is, I already told you this one, just don't apply for many cards at once. Don't be like me, like I was so desperate, like how can I build my credit scores without my credit card? So little did I know that you can build credit scores even without your credit card, like paying your bills on time, paying your monthly rent on time. So that's just one of the many ways that you can build your credit scores. And then what else? Like don't ever close an open credit card amount, because that will affect the age of your credit card history. And then check for errors on your credit report. So that's it. For any discrepancy, so like if the money that you are being asked to pay is not the same that what you purchase, you can check for errors and then call the customer service representative to have it checked, and that way you can have your credit credit account accurate. So those are just the things that I want to discuss with you, is like your credit scores, because nobody has told us about this one for batch 2021 2022 teachers who came in the USA, and we found a hard time like building up our credit scores because nobody has told us about this one. So the thing is to like prepare yourself early as possible. Immediately after you go here, you have to like build your credit, because everything here checks your credit scores. So when you wanted to go to a different house, and when you wanted to search for a new house, and you don't want a house like your Faces Angel has housed you with, so they are checking for your credit scores. They would ask if you could give a security deposit, like 1 month advance, one month, and 1 month advance as well, and 1 month deposit. So that's it. So the higher, if you don't have a credit history, so you will have to pay more. For example, I recently purchased a car from Scottville Toyota, and they have to run my credit score. And my credit score, since I have just started building up my credit score ranges from 600, and 600 is not a good it's still not a good credit score. You have to like make it until 630 to 850, because building up credit score takes time. It takes years, not just in an instant. So I have to pay like 2,000 for a down payment, 2,000 US dollars for a down payment, so I can purchased my very first car in the US. So if you got a higher credit score, or if you have somebody with you purchasing a car that has good credit standing, you can use their credentials. That way you can lower your monthly advance payment like to 500, something like that. So that's how credit scores are important, because if you got credit scores, you have to like pay it in a low amount, like your car insurance. That would also be credit scores are also a major thing. Like if you got no credit history or your credit history is low, you have to pay higher than what you're supposed to pay. Good thing I am paying premium with my progressive, and I only have like 150 for premium insurance, car insurance. So that's basically it. Like your credit scores, you have to build it on time. Hi, Sari. So if you have questions, so you may raise it right now.
Hey, ma'am. I'm raising my hand.
Who is speaking, please?
Good evening and good morning. Ma'am, I have a question, Ma'am Carol.
Yes.
You mentioned about the length of credit history. How can I still keep my account open if just in case I'm already here in the Philippines?
You mean your account in the credit in the
Or
Philippines?
I can only keep it while I'm still staying. I'm still in the program.
I mean, you can, if you like, after 5 years, you can still keep your credit cards open in the Philippines, even if you are already in the USA. You can also like use it as long as you communicate with your bank. Like there is what you call like international transfer fee for every purchases that you make. So you have to like ask them and apply afterwards if they're offering that amount, like zero transfer fee for international purchases. So but you can still keep your credit account as long as you pay your annual. Like in the Philippines, credit cards require an annual fee, unlike in the US, you don't have to pay no annual fees for any credit cards. You just have to utilize and pay your bills on time. So did I answer your questions, Ms. Remo?
Yes, ma'am. But just in case it will be closed, and then are we allowed to reopen the account?
I don't know, ma'am, because it's in the Philippines, and it's a different scenario when you go to the USA, because you have to build your credit scores from scratch. So that's it. So you have to like communicate, you talk to your bank, what are the pros and cons when you close your credit account, your credit card before coming to the USA. Or you can ask them for suggestions if you can use it, because they know better than any of us. So if you still can use your credit card from the Philippines to the USA.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Because we don't have any, unlike in the Philippines, we have this credit credit scoring in the US. We don't have that in the Philippines. So it might be different for us teachers. I mean, if you have your your credit card, it is nice, but I don't know if it's working in the US.
Thank you, ma'am. I have last question again.
It's fine.
Sorry. You mentioned about your first slide there, the bad score. How, I mean, how to have, it's not how to have, it's what are the effects if just in case there are bad scores, and what do you mean by the term bad score?
Bad scores. So let's see. Let me try to share my screen. Yeah, having here you go. Like share my screen. So this is how to determine if you have a good credit score. Like when you come to the when you come here, so you will have like 300 credit scores. So you have to build. It's not a bad thing that you don't have a credit score. I mean, it's not a, you have to like build it over time. Like 300, it's still one of in within the not good range. So you have to build it, because if you don't have credit history or you don't have any credit score, so you can, it is deemed impossible for you to be able to like purchase anything. Like if you want an apartment, if you want to buy a car, or if you want to have a good cell phone, like iPhone 13 or something, they would be checking for your credit scores. So thing is here, the reason why this is discussed with you is for you to be able to build up your credit score. So having being new to the US, so it is good. It is as good as you don't have any credit scores or we have bad credit scores. That way we have to start building it, or you have so that you can be having good credit scores. Like 335 is still bad credit score, is in the bad credit range, and then 400 is still within the bad credit range. Like 465, see, still falls in the bad credit range. 520 still in the bad credit range. I have like 600 and I still qualify. I still fall. I mean, 600. Like I still am in the bad credit range. So I have to build it over time, like for me to be able to gain good credit scores. Like 630 to 689 fall in the fair credit range, and then 700 are excellent credit range. So please bear in mind that you have to build your credit scores for you to be able to transcend from having bad credit scores to like having good credit scores by doing all those things that I told you, like to pay your bills on time, like you have to have credit cards, like, for you to have credit scores, something like that, and be an authorized user. Ask somebody if you can use their credit card to like build your credit scores while you still don't have your SSN. So if you know somebody who can give you, you don't have to get their credit cards. All you have to do is like write on their credit history, so that you can share whatever she is, if she is having good credit scores. You could also have good credit scores. So that's it. So bad credit scores would tell you that you cannot purchase like anything at all. Like you can, but at a higher cost. Like if taking, for example, my car insurance or my car loan, so I have to pay like $2,000 for me to be able to get that. But if I have good credit score, so I can just pay like $500 for me to be able to get one. So you see the difference. You can have higher amounts, like high risk. You are at high risk if you have bad credit scores. So that it is important for you to build your credit scores the first time you are in the USA. So that's it, Miss.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And I'd like to add that this happens with Americans as well. When like young people, like teenagers get into the workforce, and they, are in early 20s, they start out with no credit history as well. So this is a process, that we go through. I've had to spend, like personally, my husband and I have had to spend years building our credit. So it is a process. It is something, that we all go through here. And Anna Marie, I think you have a question, and then this will be the last question, because and anyone who has just joined at this point, you were not late. I met with the Filipino teachers about 45 minutes early to discuss, some stuff that are very specific to the Philippines. And it's 8:30. We'll begin in just a moment with the full group in today's session. Anna Marie, go ahead.
Hello. Hello, Ma'am Cindy.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mom, I would like to ask about, it was being answered, but the question was on the authorized user, or become an authorized user, that I'm going to use a cousin's credit score. When I'm going to use that one, how are we going to have or avail that one? I'm gonna use the credit score. I'm gonna use the history of the credit score of my cousin.
Oh,
Is
so become an authorized user.
So your cousin is already in the US?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's perfect. Then yes, you know, if your cousin you know, is willing to do that, then yes, absolutely. And that's something else. I mean, if you have people here, if you have family members, close friends, and they're willing to help you out, contact them, let them know you're coming here. Because they as well know, you know, that it took time for them to set up life as well. So yes, Anna Marie, that's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think that's it.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful
Happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you, you too.